Welcome to Tea with a View, Believers in the Workplace, where we share incredible stories, journeys of individuals who have changed the industry, the world, and all around us. Today, we're thrilled to have Laura Ruska with us, whose performance has taken her all over, including with Universal, Disney, SeaWorld, and even private events. Laura's artistry shines as a dancer and a still walker, captivating audiences wherever she goes. But beyond the glitz and glamour, Laura's Christian faith is a central part of her life, guiding her into an industry often known for its contrast with personal beliefs. Join us as we explore Laura's experiences navigating the entertainment world while staying grounded in her faith, and hear her inspiring journey of creativity, passion, and purpose. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
I'm just excited to share some of that, all that passion that you exuberate. So I'm excited.
Thank you.
So, Laura, can you share how your Christian faith has shaped your journey in the entertainment industry?
Yeah, so for me, the shaping of that has been since I was a child. I basically grew up in dance and performing and things like that. And then when I turned 18, I decided that I wanted to do it for a living. And so through that, I went to an audition, did multiple auditions from Florida all the way up to New York, where I got to perform. And through that process, it was just a journey, but with my family and the support of the friends around me and God, and that perseverance of knowing like this is what God's called me to do, is why where my faith is today. And not only that, has gotten to me where I am, just because of God.
Awesome. The entertainment world often comes with its own set of challenges and pressures. How do you stay true to your faith while working in such a dynamic and sometimes unpredictable environment?
Yeah, so that for me, when I first started, it was the hardest thing. I will remember that to this day. I remember being in there, I was like, okay, there's so many things because you're living in that world, just the industry, and you hear all these things going on. And for me specifically, about 2 to 3 months in, when I first started my full-time job, which was with Universal, I decided to just bring my Bible to work. And so from that point on, I sat there during my breaks. I would sit there, open up the Bible, read it, do Bible studies for myself. And through that, it was just growing. And because of that, I was able to people would come up and be like, oh, you can do that? And I'm like, yeah, it's what I'm doing right now, so I'm going to do it. Because we would have 30, 45-minute breaks where I wouldn't be doing anything.
Be involved. That's awesome. Now, have you ever faced situations in the industry that conflicted with your values? If so, how do you navigate those?
Yeah, so those for me, specifically when it comes to like Halloween, that's a big one for me.
Yeah.
So how I navigate through that personally on my personal faith and journey has been that if the Lord opens a role or something like that, I look at it as a way to minister and be a light in that industry. So for example, if I get hired for a specific Halloween event, I will then use that and kind of walk in with being that light, even though it's such a dark. And then there are events that I won't do just because for me it's a no already.
That's awesome. That's so true. You gotta navigate those and be, walking that line. Now, how do you see your performances, whether dancing or still walking, as a way of glorify God or reflect your faith?
That's a good question. For me, I look at it as a way, I'll remember when I was a little girl, my family took us to Disney, and I remember going, I want to perform. I want to put a smile and put it like on a child's face like I did when I was 5. I will remember it to this day. It was the Barbie show at Disney. And I just remember going with my whole family, and I told my parents, I said, I want to do that one day. And so now when I go in and work doing any performance, I look at it as a way to glorify God. Is like, this is the gift He's given me, so I get to use it.
right.
And I get to go out there and perform for Him. But not only that, I get to perform for these guest families, children, because someone could be walking into a theme park and it could be they're having just a hard day, and we as the performers get to put that smile on a family's face or a child's face or a parent's face by just going out there. So it brings joy to me because I get to bring joy to someone else.
That's awesome. That's great. Before we continue, I want to take a quick moment to share something very dear to my heart. I'm a tea lover, and I don't know if you are, and if you are, something is going to inspire you. So we're going to be enjoying some tea, and I'm hoping that you also enjoy tea, because today's specialty comes crafted with care, crafted with love and meaning. And every purchase that you make, it goes to this scholarship fund. And these help children that have lost their family members or they've been separated from them, so they can have a better education later on. If you're curious, check out the website. It's called backtojerusalem.com, and let's sip together with purpose and enjoy a great meaning together. So let's enjoy some little tea, Laura. Just a little. So please enjoy. This is I think it's raspberry or lemon.
Okay.
Let me see. Delicious.
It is like
Good. So Laura, let's continue with some of the, now, what's one way your faith has helped you in moments of doubt or difficulty in your career?
in my career.
Yes, in your career.
I feel like there's so many. For me
Yeah, your faith,
personally, whenever I feel, especially going through auditions and processes like that, there are times when you're waiting 3-4 months and you're like, okay, did I get the job? Did I not? And I am constantly reminded in those times, especially with specifically my mom and my family, who has always been there, like, Laura, just keep holding on to faith and stuff like that. And so there are times where I'm like, I'll lose doubt, but at the same point, I'm reminded by people around me, plus the word, like, God, you have a plan for me. I love Jeremiah 29:11, that He has planned and a purpose for us. So that verse has spoken to me every time I go to an audition, because I know that when one door closes, the next will open. So I just kind of have to trust God through that process. So whenever I lose doubt that I might get something, it's always that reminder of, like, that might not be the right door at the right timing. So,
Is that a special memory that you have for, impacting somebody as you were walking and dancing that you can share?
like an impact from just a performance-wise?
Or it was very dear to you, or like that moved you?
I actually, I do. I was working for Busch Gardens. I remember there was this little girl who spoke sign language. And right before that, I was a princess poinsettia is what my role that year. And so I got to learn some sign language, and I will remember this moment because it still sticks with me to this day. But she came up, and the mom, and I was able to sign to her, and the mom looked at me afterwards and was like, thank you so much, because you don't normally see that. And so that moment, so now even when I'm performing, it's one of those things that people who have those other needs from sign language, can't speak, things like that, or can't see, it's always having them feel. So those moments are some of the precious moments I get to remember, because it brings a joy to me that I get to bring light to someone else too.
That's great. Amazing. Working at major companies like Universal, SeaWorld, and Disney is a dream for many. As you know, right? How do you balance the demands of this industry with the quiet, reflective aspect of your spiritual faith or your spiritual life?
My spiritual life? For me, I will remember when I first started, it was that journey of figuring out what those next steps were. So through that process, I show up to work, I put a smile on my face, and through that I, bring my Bible. I'll have like a Bible study, or I'll have things around me. I've got so many people who will come up and, like, just when I get to know someone, they're like, oh, what do you do for a living? And so we'll have conversations, and I'm always able to use that as well when I talk, because going to Hillsong College and going to Bible college is a part of my life now too.
Yeah.
Or serving in like the kids ministries and things like that. So when I have these conversations, it always sparks something on others, and we just kind of dive a little deeper sometimes through that.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes I know when to kind of step back and not
say
anything too. So it's that journey of just watching God kind of use me, but also through that, I've watched people come to Christ through this industry as well, which has been incredible to just watch how God's used me in that way as well.
Awesome. Great, Laura. Now, what advice would you give to other Christians who feel called to work in industries where faith might not always be, true at the forefront, Be at the forefront,
Be at the forefront. My biggest encouragement for anyone who goes through that in this industry is that making sure you put God first 24/7. It's never a doubt that knowing when you step into this, you're going to be giving it to Him. So through this process of auditioning, going through the yeses and the nos, never being defeated because it can weigh on you as a Christian coming from that. I know I've had my ups and downs, and so I would encourage by just telling them to continue getting in the Word, surround yourself with Christian friends in the industry, find those people who are going to lift you up that work in that industry because you're going to need them while you're there. I wouldn't be where I am today without the friends that I have met through my work environment as well. So I know for me, it's just that constant reminder, like God is always going to be with you. Make sure that you pray before you do your parade, like for parades or whatever that is. I go and I'm always reminded, like, God, thank you for bringing me here. This is the place where you've placed me. So
this program is sponsored by Golden Angel Ministries, a ministry that helps bring the love of Christ to neglected and orphan children all over the world, whether it is by supporting in their medical needs, the education, the spiritual needs. This is something that everyone can help. And if you are interested and want to partner with us, please visit goldenangel.com. And it's a way to show the love of Christ to these precious children and to make an impact for the kingdom. Okay, now let's go back to learn and to wrap it up with my friend Laura here. It's just exciting, because you don't see many people in the industry and they feel, well, I can't mix both, right? So now, have you found community with other believers in the entertainment world, or do you feel like your faith sets you apart?
I have found community. I will say throughout the years of doing this now for 13 years, I have found more community in that industry that believers, and I look back when I first started and I was like, am I the only one here? And I will remember when I first started, as soon as I started bringing that Bible out, like I said at the beginning too, I remember people coming up to me and just being like, hey, we can do this. And through that, I was able to find some of my closest friends who I am still friends to this day. And I love them with all of my heart. And that we've started Bible studies together. We've done things like that. So through this industry and through that, I have made some of the closest friends I have ever had. So.
That's great, my friend. Now, looking ahead, how do you see your faith and your career intertwining as you continue to grow both spiritually and professionally?
I'm like, I have always felt called to perform. It's where God's placed me. With that, I believe that this calling is God's placed me to be a light in the darkness through this industry. And for me, that is to continue to put God first, put Him at the forefront. So no matter where I'm at, if that's doing special events, working through theme parks, wherever that is, that I will be that light for others. And I can see this not only where it is, but stepping into the new season that God has for me now as well. I'm excited to see where He's going to take everything that I've learned from when I started and bringing it into where it is going to become. So.
Awesome. Thank you, Laura. Now, this interview has just been very close to me because I love the entertaining world and just seeing intertwined with the faith, it just brings a lot of hope for those out there. So I hope that you have enjoyed and feel encouraged being a believer in the workplace. So just stay tuned for the next episode, and we are so thrilled to have you back, and just very very memorable time with Laura. Thank you again, Laura,
you.
for joining us. Just amazing.